Evening, or welcome to Dust. And it is, it's the 31st of July. And it's 2 in the afternoon. I've had a good number of beers. I'm on holiday for 2 weeks. And I'm very happy actually about this because work sucks at the moment. Woo! So basically, yeah, we're going to play some Dust. And may even do the odd cheeky live stream as well. The last live stream we did was the All Militia event, which was just terrible. Lots of CPM bollocks going on at that time as well. Now it's all over, and now might be a good time to rekindle our live streams again. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I thought I'd bring you a little bit of a fun match we had. Pretty much doing nothing. This is just me sat in my mobile turret spot and just shooting any dude who dares try and hack. Now, obviously, we don't have the point, which is kind of bad. I should probably go and hack it, but who cares about winning, seriously? In fact, let's talk about that. That I never quite understood why there was never a penalty for losing. Because there isn't, is there? You get the same amount of ISK, I believe. Post in the comments if I've got that wrong. And as far as I'm aware, you in public matches, you still get paid. And it's the same amount of ISK depending on how many war points you got. So you could still lose and have a phenomenally good payout. And I believe you don't get salvage if you win, or did I get that wrong? Who knows? Who knows? No, I'm sure I've got salvage before and I've lost. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and anyway, salvage is a load of old bilge. Anyway, you never get anything. You never get anything amazing. You never get like trinkets of gold and frankincense and awesome stuff that you can actually use. Like you don't get officer gear just handed to you generally, do you? So unless you're doing something like a PC or an FW, I don't think the loot system is very good at all in public matches, which is, I guess, a kind of shame. So again, post in the comments if I got that right. That lack of, I guess, I don't know, penalty for not winning, I think is a bad thing personally. Other than pride, which pride is one thing. I admit some people take pride quite seriously. Not me, bro. I'm quite happy to have a really crappy match where we lose as long as I have fun doing it. I honestly don't care if we win or lose at times. Do you know what? Most of the time, I was about to say sometimes, I think the vast majority of the match is really just around getting the opponent to come at you. So right now, this is a red rag to a bull for the enemy because they've got to come hack, otherwise they lose. And I think that becomes very, very quickly the only way to force a good fight. This is generally why I don't play skirmish in FW. FW is an appalling place at the moment. If you can get into a match, you're doing well, because for some reason, I don't know, it just seems impossible to get an FW match now. Schley was basically saying that he's had 6-7 hours where he's been sporadically trying throughout the day, and it's just never come on. It's never happened. A gang and a match has never started. And that was queuing for all 4 races as well. So yeah, something's a little bit broken there. Who knows? But I think this is kind of the issue. I would say is that when you come to kind of fighting dudes, you kind of need to. Domination is a good mode for me. I find we run it exclusively now because it's kind of the only mode where you can get that critical mass of people in one place to fight. At skirmish, you could be fighting across 3 or 5 locations or 4, and you never really get a good kind of all-in fight. At all, whereas in domination you kind of do. So that's our kind of mantra with this. We've always run doms generally because you do get good fights from it. Vehicles are always kind of focused on one point as well. Snipers are focused on one point, which can be a bit of a problem, but generally I would say that it's got to be the more enjoyable mode by quite a way. It would be nice to have some form of capture the flag mode. I tell you what, bro, I was bloody good at capture the flag. When I played it in Unreal Tournament, and I played it in, oh gosh, what did I play it in? Unreal Tournament, I think I played it in Half-Life, I think Team Fortress I played it in a long time ago, long time ago. And I always enjoyed that mode because I was quite good at it. That's the one thing I'm always quite good at, is my ability to run and move and kind of jig around and generally proceed through a map. It was always one of my strong points, and I think even now the movement with the scout and the jumping and all that is very good. My only issue is, and it's a bit ironic really, is that I really miss the Destiny movement system in Dust. I think the parkour of Titanfall and the double jump and floating of Destiny, and then there's nothing in Dust at all. In fact, the jump is actually pretty low as well, so there's nothing really that cool in Dust at all. What I would love to see is the ability to fit modules like mini jetpacks, just not to even get high on a point. It's just literally it will jump higher, it will boost higher. That's all it needs to do. Or just the ability to maybe do anti-grav or something like that. Just anything really, because I think there is that missing feeling of one of the amusing parts of playing in a futuristic sci-fi shooter is the ability to feel that you're superhuman to some degree. Technology makes you superhuman, so having that feeling where you can move like a superhero is why most people will play space games. Okay, now PlanetSide 2 has got this. In fact, every game's got this except Dust. Dust are stuck pretty closely to the fact of what a human being can do. We'll stick with that. Now there is the odd exception, so scouts can jump as high as your head maybe, but that's not terribly impressive really when you think about it. I think I would much rather have, I don't know, double jump and glide and jump, and then I don't know, the ability to do a second jump is always tactically superiously amazing. Look at that, I just did a jump there. That's my hopefully you saw that. That's actually my party piece on this map, because I know you can jump from one to the other with the right kin cats. You got to have the right kin cats fit, but otherwise, I would love to see more people doing that. Maybe kin cats should increase your jump height a bit. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? The ability to really push your muscles a bit and maybe increase your melee slightly as well. I don't know, but I'm kind of curious to see what Legion will have in terms of this, because otherwise the movement is pretty dull. I think strafing needs to be reduced a bit as well, but I don't think there's much anybody can do about that now. I think strafing is a little bit too much still in this game. But having said that, what more can they really do here? This is why it's kind of amusing in a way that they've got a CPM now, because, well, what's that CPM going to do? Because surely there isn't much left really that can be done with Dust. Or am I wrong? Post in the comments. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, because the way I see it is there doesn't seem to be, I guess, a great deal of changes that CCP are willing to do, and B, have the ability to do, because they're obviously not going to really want to do client-side fixes now, because that obviously requires an interaction with Sony. So I think really it's kind of like we're in, Dust 514 is in a wheelchair now, and it's kind of, well, let's see what we can poke out of the old girl and let's see if we can get much there. But to be honest, I'm a bit concerned that actually there's probably not a great deal more that the game can kind of do. But there we go. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see a lot more stuff come through. It is a shame that they've committed to this no more client-side stuff. I would love to know the story behind that. Did they fall out with Sony? Did they negotiate not a very good contract with them, so they don't want to pay for money for it? Is this CCP themselves saying no more updates, we can't afford it? I don't know. I'm curious. I really am, because I'd love to know a bit more about what was going on there. But alas, I know nothing. I'm afraid. So we could wildly speculate, which is generally quite fun, but I think we'll give that a miss this time. But anyway, here we go. Back to our little perch. I do like this map. I know people kind of get a bit ragey about Line Harvest, but I don't know. There's something about it I quite enjoy. I love the tabletop. That's a multi kind of aspect of combat. I've always liked that. I've always thought that was an incredibly clever design to put into the game. But I think otherwise, the maps in this game are not too bad. I would love to tell you what, one thing that got me completely was there aren't really a great number of different sockets in this game. Now, I was looking at some old footage, and they had like capture points for domination in the middle of the old sockets. I'll have to dig it out and show you it, because it was fascinating how it was just a totally different game back then. It was, you had different sockets, you had different elevations, etc. And I think maybe, I don't know why they did it, but it just seemed to me that all of a sudden they just made it almost as if there was only a few sockets really where the point is. So you still find these sockets littered about the map, but there's nothing really to do with them. They're kind of way off in the distance. So I'm not too sure what the logic behind that was. Line Harvest doesn't change. This is a socketless one, other than the extremities, so the first bases. But the central point where that point is doesn't change. Now, I would love to see that point move around. I mean, I don't know, is that possible? That would make it so fascinating, wouldn't it? The ability to have a map where you don't know where the domination point is. My issue is that so many people have learned where to sit and snipe, where to sit and put a railgun tank, or where to do this or where to do that, and they just kind of sit wherever they want to sit, and it's become too formulaic. So Ashlands, everybody knows, get a dropship, go to the top of the map and sit on the great big shuttle, and that, it bothers me so much. I would love to see people not do that and actually have a dynamic domination point that could be anywhere. But again, I don't think it's possible. I think this is already a step too far, which makes me remarkably sad. But there we go. What can you do? You can't turn back time, bro. And I think as long as you can enjoy the game, as long as you find something within the game that gives you fun, then give it a go. And I don't write dust off yet. It is still amazing fun. So there we go. We won. Hi, what the French. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.